In an unprecedented spectacle that has left the political world reeling, the Senate floor became the stage for a confrontation of epic proportions. The air was thick with tension as George Santos and Mitt Romney, two titans of the political arena, clashed in a showdown that no one saw coming. The explosive encounter erupted with a ferocity that shattered the veneer of Senate decorum, leaving onlookers stunned and the nation in shock. The confrontation began with a seemingly innocuous exchange, but quickly escalated into a full-blown verbal brawl. Santos, known for his unyielding rhetoric, launched a scathing attack on Romney, accusing him of deceit and betrayal. "You're a fraud," Santos bellowed, his voice echoing through the hallowed halls of the Senate. The accusation hung in the air like a thunderclap, leaving Romney momentarily speechless. But Romney, a seasoned political warrior, was not one to back down. With a fiery retort that set the Senate ablaze, he shot back, "You're a hypocrite." The words were like a match to gasoline, igniting a firestorm of controversy that threatened to consume both men. The encounter was not just a clash of personalities, but a battle of ideologies, each man representing a different vision for the future of their party and the nation. As the dust settled, the true extent of the animosity between Santos and Romney began to emerge. Behind closed doors, secret grudges and hidden agendas had been simmering for months, fueling this epic Senate clash. The explosive encounter was not just a spontaneous outburst, but the culmination of a long-standing feud that had been brewing beneath the surface. The fallout from this verbal brawl was immediate and far-reaching. The Senate, once a bastion of civility and decorum, was left in disarray, its reputation tarnished by the scandal. The media frenzy that followed turned the clash into a national spectacle, with news outlets across the country seizing on the story and amplifying its impact. Public outrage was swift and unforgiving, with citizens demanding accountability for the scandal that had rocked the Senate to its core. The international community watched in disbelief as the political meltdown unfolded, sending shockwaves around the world. In the aftermath of the confrontation, both Santos and Romney faced unforgiving consequences. Their political futures hung in the balance, as the nation awaited the final verdict on whether this scandal would spell the end for these once mighty political titans. The explosive encounter had not only shattered Senate decorum but it also exposed the deep divisions within the political landscape, leaving a lasting impact that would be felt for years to come. Behind the closed doors of the Senate, a storm was brewing that few could have foreseen. The tension was palpable, and the air was thick with hidden resentments that finally erupted in an unprecedented showdown. George Santos and Mitt Romney, two renowned political figures, found themselves at the center of a hurricane of pent-up emotions and personal rivalries that had been brewing for years. The clash was not simply a political dispute, it was a collision of egos and old grudges that had been carefully hidden from the public eye. In the corridors of power, where diplomatic smiles and handshakes are common currency, a much darker battle was being waged. Santos, known for his direct, unfiltered style, had accumulated a number of grievances against Romney, who, in turn, was no stranger to scathing criticism and accusations of hypocrisy. The closed-door meetings, which were supposed to be about discussing policy and strategy, became battlefields where words were sharpened weapons. Murmurs of past betrayals and broken promises echoed in every corner, fueling a fire that was about to consume everything in its path. Allies on both sides watched with a mix of fascination and fear, aware that they were witnessing the beginning of a war that could change the course of the Senate forever. This confrontation was not just a matter of political disagreements, it was a struggle for power and influence, where every word and gesture was calculated to inflict maximum damage. Personal tensions, which had been carefully kept under control, now boiled over, revealing a landscape of resentments and rivalries that had been buried for too long. In this emotionally charged setting, the Senate became a battleground where loyalties were tested and alliances were forged or broken in a matter of seconds. The atmosphere was electric, and every move by Santos and Romney was closely watched by those seeking to take advantage of the situation or simply survive the coming chaos. The story unfolding behind these closed doors was one of secrets and betrayals, of unbridled ambitions and a struggle for control that threatened to destabilize not just the protagonists, but the entire political system. In this power game, there was no room for weakness, and every word spoken was a reminder that in the world of politics, the real battles are fought far from the public eye. In an unexpected twist that left everyone speechless, the Senate became the scene of an unprecedented confrontation. George Santos, with a withering look and a voice full of indignation, launched an accusation that echoed in every corner of the chamber. "You are a fraud." These words, directed with surgical precision at Mitt Romney, not only shook the veteran senator, but also lit a fuse that no one could have foreseen. The atmosphere became electric, and the murmur of those present turned into a deafening clamor. Santos, known for his direct and uncompromising style, did not stop there. With each word, he laid bare what he considered Romney's hypocrisies and deceits, revealing a series of accusations that, until then, had only been whispered in the darkest corridors of power. Romney, a battle-hardened politician, did not remain silent. However, the impact of the initial accusation left him reeling, searching for the right words to defend himself from such a fierce and public attack. The tension was palpable, and with each passing second the expectation of a response that could match the intensity of Santos' attack increased. This confrontation not only put Romney's reputation in jeopardy, but also raised serious questions about integrity and transparency in the Senate. The fraud charge was not a mere insult. It was a declaration of political war that promised to have far-reaching repercussions. The audience, both inside and outside the Senate, was caught in a whirlwind of emotions, eagerly awaiting the next move in this power play that had captured the attention of the entire nation. As cameras captured every gesture and word, the echo of "You're a fraud" continued to resonate, marking the beginning of a battle that promised to change the course of American politics. The question on everyone's mind was clear. How would Romney respond to such a devastating accusation? And, more importantly, what hidden truths would come to light in the process? In an unexpected turn of events, the Senate became a battlefield as Mitt Romney, with a withering look, launched an accusation that resonated in every corner of the chamber. "You're a hypocrite." Romney's words, filled with fury and determination, not only lit the fuse of an unprecedented verbal showdown, but also left everyone present in a state of utter shock. The tension in the air was palpable, and the echo of his statement reverberated like thunder in the midst of a political storm. Romney, known for his composure and diplomacy, broke from his usual serenity to confront George Santos with an intensity few had witnessed before. The charge of hypocrisy was not simply a personal attack, it was a direct challenge to Santos's integrity, a calculated blow that sought to dismantle his opponent's facade and expose what Romney viewed as a betrayal of the Senate's founding principles. The impact of his words was immediate and devastating. The stunned senators exchanged looks of disbelief as the murmur of shock spread like wildfire. The press, always on the lookout for a scandal, captured every second of this explosive confrontation, ensuring that the entire world witnessed this historic moment. Meanwhile, Santos, visibly shaken by the accusation, tried to maintain his composure. However, the intensity of Romney's attack had left an indelible mark, and the pressure of responding to such a challenge was evident. The battle of words that was taking place before the public's eyes was not just a clash of egos, but a struggle for power and credibility on the highest political stage in the country. This confrontation not only shook the foundations of the Senate, but also raised uncomfortable questions about the true nature of political leaders and their hidden motivations. Romney's charge of hypocrisy was not just a matter of words, it was a call to action, a demand for transparency and accountability in a world where politics is often clouded by personal interests and hidden agendas. The scene in the Senate became a symbol of the growing polarization and discontent that permeates politics today. The confrontation between Romney and Santos was not just a spectacle for the media, it was a brutal reminder of the underlying tensions that threaten to destabilize the political system. At a time when trust in leaders is at an all-time low, this confrontation served as a catalyst for a broader debate about integrity and accountability in politics. Romney's accusation resonated beyond the walls of the Senate, sparking a wave of reactions across the country. Citizens, tired of empty rhetoric and unfulfilled promises, demanded answers and concrete action. The pressure on Santos was mounting, and the question on everyone's mind was clear. How would he respond to this monumental challenge? In the dark web of the Senate, where the lights shine but the shadows lurk, a chapter is unraveling that few would dare to imagine. George Santos and Mitt Romney, two political titans, find themselves caught in a web of hidden agendas that threaten to crumble the facade of integrity that both have tried to maintain. What is really hiding behind their public smiles and carefully crafted speeches? Santos, known for his ability to manipulate the strings of power, has been weaving a plan that could change the course of his political career. However, what few know is that behind his facade of security, there is a deep fear that his true intentions will be exposed. Confidential documents, secret meetings and questionable alliances are part of a plot that, if revealed, could destroy his reputation forever. On the other hand, Romney, the veteran senator with an image of unwavering rectitude, is no stranger to power games. But what really motivates his actions? Sources close to the party suggest that Romney has been hiding a personal interest that could call into question his integrity. Is he really committed to the values he proclaims, or is there a hidden interest that drives him to act so vehemently against Santos? The tension between the two isn't just a matter of political differences. It's a clash of egos, of unbridled ambitions, and of secrets that neither is willing to reveal. At the heart of this confrontation lies an uncomfortable truth. Both have a lot to lose if their hidden agendas are discovered. The question on everyone's mind is, who will be the first to fall? And what price are they willing to pay to protect their secrets? As the Senate becomes a battlefield, spectators watch in awe and anticipation. The truth, like a volcano about to erupt, threatens to bubble to the surface, and when it does, the consequences will be devastating. In this power game, where truth is the most valuable currency, only time will tell who will emerge victorious and who will be trapped in the ruins of their own lies. In an unexpected twist that has left the nation agape, explosive audio has been leaked revealing the incendiary words exchanged between George Santos and Mitt Romney in a Senate hallway. This material, which has come to light clandestinely, has shaken the foundations of American politics, exposing a confrontation that many suspected, but few had witnessed in such raw form. The audio, which has been circulated rapidly by all media outlets, captures a moment of extreme tension. In it, Santos can be heard making direct and uncensored accusations, calling Romney a traitor to his principles, and questioning his integrity with a vehemence that leaves no room for doubt about the seriousness of his words. Romney's response is not far behind. With a voice full of indignation, he accuses Santos of being an unscrupulous opportunist, willing to sacrifice any value for a little power. This exchange, which was thought to be private, has unleashed an unprecedented political storm. Analysts are rushing to unravel the implications of these revelations, while stunned citizens are demanding explanations and accountability. The leak of the audio has not only exposed the deep animosity between these two senators, but has also raised serious questions about transparency and ethics within the Senate. The recording, which some are calling the Watergate of the 21st century, has laid bare the true intentions and resentments lurking behind closed doors of power. The question now echoing across the country is, what other uncomfortable truths remain hidden in the halls of Capitol Hill? Meanwhile, the pressure on Santos and Romney is only mounting, with a public clamoring for justice and a political class reeling from the scandal. This episode, far from being a simple altercation, has put the credibility of two prominent figures in jeopardy and has ignited a national debate about morality and honesty in politics. The nation watches, expectantly, as events unfold, aware that what is at stake is much more than the fate of two men. It is confidence in the democratic system itself. The Senate, a place that has historically been a symbol of civilized debate and diplomacy, has been shaken to its foundations by a verbal confrontation that has left everyone speechless. The confrontation between George Santos and Mitt Romney has not only captured the attention of the media, but has unleashed an unprecedented political storm. What began as a spirited exchange of words has become a scandal that threatens to redefine the norms of conduct in the Senate. The impact of this altercation has been devastating for the image of the institution. The tension in the air was palpable as the accusations began to fly, each word sharper than the last. Santos, with barely contained fury, launched a series of accusations that left Romney reeling. Romney's response was swift, and his incendiary rhetoric further inflamed the already charged atmosphere. This clash of titans has not only exposed the personal fissures between the two, but has also exposed the deep political divisions that underlie the Senate. The echo of this confrontation has resonated beyond the walls of the Senate, affecting the public perception of American politics. Trust in elected leaders has been eroded, and citizens are demanding explanations and accountability. The fall from grace of senatorial decency has left an indelible mark, and the question on everyone's mind is, how will the Senate recover from this blow to its integrity? Meanwhile, the fallout continues to unfold, with political analysts and ordinary citizens alike debating the implications of this scandal. The pressure on Santos and Romney is immense, and the future of their political careers hangs in the balance. This episode has made it clear that the Senate is no longer immune to the unleashed passions and that the road to reconciliation will be arduous and full of obstacles. Ultimately, this showdown has shaken the foundations of American politics, and its impact will be felt for a long time to come. The nation is watching intently, waiting to see how this conflict will be resolved and what lessons will be learned from this bitter dispute. Tension in the Senate reached a boiling point when George Santos and Mitt Romney engaged in a face-off that left everyone speechless. What began as a regular session turned into a political battlefield, where words became lethal weapons. Santos, with a defiant look, launched an accusation that resonated in every corner of the chamber. "You are a fraud." The statement was a direct blow to Romney's heart, who, without missing a beat, retorted furiously, "You are a hypocrite." This exchange was not a simple disagreement. It was the climax of a feud that had been brewing in the shadows for years. Behind the closed doors of the Senate, grudges and secret agendas lurked, which finally came to light in this explosive showdown. The history between Santos and Romney is one of betrayals and rivalries that go back to dark times, where each tried to undermine the other in their rise to power. The scandal did not end there. A leaked audio revealed even more shocking words exchanged in a Senate hallway, laying bare the true extent of their animosity. The leak shook the foundations of the institution, breaking with the decorum expected of its members. The verbal battle not only left scars on the protagonists, but also altered the course of politics in the Senate, leaving a trail of chaos and distrust. The history of this feud is a tale of unbridled ambition and personal vendettas. Santos and Romney, two political titans, have been locked in a cycle of confrontation that has tarnished their careers and put the stability of the Senate in jeopardy. This conflict is not just a personal dispute. It is a reflection of the internal struggles that threaten to destabilize the national political landscape. The revelation of this feud has captured the attention of the media, becoming a national spectacle that has left citizens outraged and demanding accountability. Public pressure has reached unprecedented levels, and the repercussions of this scandal are felt not only at the national level, but also internationally, where the world watches in amazement at the collapse of political diplomacy in one of the most important organs of the country. The consequences for Santos and Romney are unforgiving. Both face an uncertain future, with their reputations at stake and their political careers hanging in the balance. The question on everyone's mind is whether this scandal will mark the end of these political titans, or whether they will find a way to rise from the ashes of their own destruction. The story is far from over, and the outcome promises to be as shocking as the beginning of this saga. The Senate became a battlefield as George Santos and Mitt Romney engaged in a jaw-dropping showdown. What began as an ordinary session turned into an explosive spectacle that no one could ignore. The tension was palpable, and spectators could not look away from the scene unfolding before them. Santos, with a defiant look, launched a devastating accusation that echoed throughout the chamber. "You are a fraud." The words cut through the air like a knife, leaving Romney reeling, visibly shaken by the direct and merciless attack. Romney's response was swift. His voice filled with outrage, he replied with equal intensity, "You're a hypocrite." The room was filled with murmurs and gasps as the senators present realized they were witnessing a moment that would change the course of politics. This exchange of accusations was not just a clash of personalities, but a reflection of the deep divisions that had been brewing in the shadows of power. The media was quick to grasp the magnitude of the confrontation. Within minutes, the news spread like wildfire, becoming the main topic of all newscasts. The headlines were incendiary, and images of the altercation were replayed over and over again on television screens. Journalists, eager for details, set out to unravel every word, every gesture, every glance that had been exchanged in that tense moment. The media coverage was relentless, fueling the scandal and amplifying every detail into a national spectacle. Political analysts debated heatedly about the implications of this showdown, while the stunned public demanded answers and accountability. The pressure on Santos and Romney increased with each passing hour, and the entire nation watched with a mix of fascination and horror. This clash not only shook the foundations of the Senate, but also exposed the latent tensions that had been brewing in the political arena. Public opinion was divided, and social media became a virtual battlefield where intense debates were taking place. The demand for transparency and accountability was deafening, and the reputations of both senators hung in the balance. Amidst this media whirlwind, the question on everyone's mind was, what would the consequences of this scandal be for Santos and Romney? Uncertainty reigned, and the future of these two political titans seemed more uncertain than ever. The nation eagerly awaited the outcome of this saga, knowing that what was at stake was much more than the fate of two men. It was the very future of American politics. Public outrage has reached unprecedented levels following the scandalous Senate showdown between George Santos and Mitt Romney. Citizens across the country are demanding accountability and transparency, clamoring for answers to what they consider a shameful stain on national politics. The streets have filled with protesters, banners in hand, demanding drastic measures be taken against the protagonists of this embarrassing episode. The collective anger is not surprising. People feel betrayed, deceived by those who should represent their interests with integrity. Social media is ablaze with comments from outraged citizens who cannot believe the level of moral decay displayed by their leaders. Enough of lies and deceit, they shout in unison, demanding an end to impunity. Political analysts were quick to point out that this scandal could be the catalyst for a profound change in public perception of the political class. Trust, already fragile, has been severely eroded, and the pressure on Santos and Romney is immense. Both are in the eye of the storm, facing relentless scrutiny from a public that is not willing to tolerate any more lapses. In this climate of tension, demands for resignation and sanctions are multiplying. People want to see concrete actions, not just empty words. Patience has run out, and the clamor for justice resonates loudly in every corner of the country. The question on everyone's mind is, will Santos and Romney be able to face the consequences of their actions, or will they try to get away with it once again? The pressure is palpable, and time is running out. The people have spoken, and their message is clear. There will be no peace until justice is done. Public outrage has gone from a mere murmur to a deafening cry demanding real, tangible change. The ball is in the politicians' court, and the entire world is watching intently. The United States Senate became an unexpected battlefield when George Santos and Mitt Romney engaged in a showdown that left everyone speechless. In a turn of events that no one saw coming, the simmering tensions between these two political titans erupted in a verbal exchange that resonated far beyond the walls of the Senate. The confrontation was so intense that the echoes of their words still reverberate in the halls of power. The world watched in amazement as Santos, with uncontrollable fury, accused Romney of being a fraud. Santos' words were like a poisoned dart, designed to inflict maximum damage. Romney, however, did not remain silent. With a steely gaze, he responded with equal intensity, calling Santos a hypocrite. This exchange was not just a clash of personalities, but a collision of ideologies that left the Senate reeling. As the media rushed to cover every detail of this scandal, the repercussions began to be felt internationally. Governments around the world expressed shock and dismay at the spectacle unfolding in one of the most respected legislative bodies on the planet. The image of American politics was tarnished, and questions about the stability and seriousness of its leaders began to arise. In Europe, Asia, and Latin America, the headlines reflected disbelief and shock. Political analysts debated the possible implications of this confrontation for U.S. foreign relations. Could this scandal affect strategic alliances? What message did it send to the world about the internal cohesion of American politics? Meanwhile, in the Senate itself, the atmosphere was palpably tense. Santos and Romney's colleagues found themselves at a crossroads, forced to take sides or try to mediate in a dispute that seemed to have no end. Closed-door meetings multiplied, and leaks of information only added fuel to the fire. The impact of this confrontation was not limited to the political sphere. Stunned citizens demanded explanations and accountability. Social media was ablaze with comments of indignation and support, while polls reflected a growing distrust of both politicians. The pressure on Santos and Romney was mounting, and the future of their political careers hung in the balance. This episode will undoubtedly mark a turning point in the political history of the United States. The consequences of this titanic clash remain to be seen, but one thing is certain. The entire world is watching, and the outcome of this saga will be closely followed by all those seeking to understand the true state of politics in the 21st century. In an unexpected twist that has left the nation speechless, the United States Senate has become the epicenter of an unprecedented confrontation between two of its most prominent figures, George Santos and Mitt Romney. What began as an ordinary session quickly transformed into a verbal battlefield, where accusations flew like poisoned daggers, leaving everyone present stunned. The clash, which has been described as an explosion of pent-up tensions, was triggered when Santos, his voice filled with fury, launched a devastating accusation against Romney, calling him a fraud in the Senate chamber. The statement resounded like thunder, shaking the foundations of the institution and leaving Romney momentarily speechless. But the veteran senator was quick to strike back, hitting back with an equally incendiary accusation, calling Santos a hypocrite and further fanning the flames of the conflict. Behind this explosive exchange lie deep-rooted grudges and hidden agendas that both politicians have desperately tried to keep secret. However, the tension finally reached boiling point, and the result was a spectacle that has captured the attention of the nation and the entire world. The impact of this confrontation has been devastating, not only for the protagonists, but for the image of the Senate as a whole. The decorum that once characterized this institution has been shattered, leaving a vacuum that has been quickly filled by an unprecedented media frenzy. The media have turned this clash into a national spectacle, fueling public outrage and demanding accountability. At the international level, the repercussions have not been long in coming. Governments and citizens around the world are watching in amazement as one of the oldest democracies on the planet is shaken by a scandal of such magnitude. The pressure on Santos and Romney is immense, and the consequences of their actions are relentless. In the eye of the storm, both politicians face an uncertain future. Public trust has been eroded, and the shadow of this scandal threatens to overshadow their careers. The question on everyone's mind is, can they survive this storm, or will this be the end of their political careers? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The Senate will never be the same after this titanic showdown. The Senate became a battlefield when George Santos and Mitt Romney engaged in an explosive showdown that left everyone speechless. In an unexpected twist, the simmering tensions between these two political titans erupted in a verbal exchange that resonated in every corner of the Capitol. Santos, with a withering look, launched a devastating accusation that left Romney reeling. "You are a fraud." The statement resounded like thunder, shaking the foundations of American politics. Romney, known for his composure, was not far behind. In a tone that cut the air like a knife, he retorted, "You are a hypocrite." The Senate chamber became abuzz with murmurs and stunned stares as the two senators faced off mercilessly. This clash was not just a personal dispute, it was a reflection of the deep divisions that have been brewing at the heart of political power. Behind this confrontation lurked hidden agendas that both politicians were desperately trying to keep in the shadows. However, a leaked audio recording revealed the shocking words they exchanged in a Senate hallway, unleashing an unprecedented media storm. The decency of the Senate was shattered, and what was once a bastion of diplomacy was transformed into a battlefield of recriminations and accusations. The dark history between Santos and Romney came to light, exposing a political feud that had been brewing for years. The scandal-hungry media turned the showdown into a national spectacle, fueling public outrage. Angry citizens demanded accountability and transparency, while the world watched in amazement at the collapse of political decency in one of the most influential democracies on the planet. The fallout was relentless. Santos and Romney faced unprecedented scrutiny, and their political futures hung in the balance. The question on everyone's lips was unavoidable. Would this scandal be the end of these political titans? The answer, still uncertain, kept the nation in suspense, as the drama continued to unfold in the most unexpected setting, the United States Senate.